$5. One day, everything. That was the challenge I gave myself. Not $5 for food, not $5 for entertainment. $5 for literally everything that happened. In a day: food, transportation, unexpected expenses, everything. And before you think this is going to be some inspirational "look how little I need to be happy" story, let me stop you right there. This was brutal. This was eye-opening, and this revealed things about poverty, privilege, and our relationship with money that I wasn't expecting at all. Here's why. I did this. I kept seeing these viral challenges where people try to live on some impossibly small budget for a day or a week, and they always felt fake. They'd conveniently forget to mention they drove their paid-off car everywhere, using gas they'd already bought. They'd eat from their fully stocked pantry and act like they were roughing it. I wanted to know what $5 a day actually looks like. Not $5 plus all the resources I already have. $5, period. So I set some strict rules. The rules: $5 per day for 7 days. Total budget, $35. Must cover all expenses. Food, transportation, everything. Cannot use anything I didn't pay for within the budget. No eating pantry food. No using prepaid subscriptions. No driving with gas I already bought. Can only use public resources that are truly free: library, parks, tap water. No borrowing. No gifts. No just this once exceptions. Must still go to work and maintain basic hygiene. I gave myself one advantage because I am not a monster. I could sleep in my apartment that was already paid for, and I could use utilities that were already paid for, because the point wasn't to become homeless, it was to understand what $5 a day actually covers. 7 days. $35 total. Everything else had to be free or I couldn't do it. I'm going to walk you through this day by day, because each day taught me something different about what it actually means to live with almost no money. And I'm going to be completely honest about where I failed, where I cheated, and what I learned that I'll never forget. Day 1. The reckoning. Day 1 started with a problem I hadn't anticipated. I needed to get to work. I live 8 miles from my job. My car needs gas. Gas costs money. I had $5 for the entire day, and I couldn't use gas I'd already purchased. That would violate the rules. Public transportation, one way, $2.5. Round trip, $5. You see the problem? If I spent my entire daily budget on getting to work, I had $0 left for food, for anything. But if I didn't go to work, I'd lose my job, which defeats the entire purpose of understanding what it's like to survive on $5 a day. I made the decision to spend $1.50 on a one-way bus ticket. Walk the 8 miles home after work took me 2 hours and 20 minutes, and used the remaining $3.50 for food. Breakfast. Skipped. I had no food and no money to buy food yet. Lunch. I spent $2.50 at a dollar store on a loaf of generic white bread, 88 cents. A jar of peanut butter, Santu 62. That left me with $1 for the rest of the day. I made 2 peanut butter sandwiches at my work break. At Ted Boat, and felt like I'd gamed the system. I had bread and peanut butter for tomorrow too, and I'd only spent $2.50. Dinner. Another peanut butter sandwich with the remaining dollar saved for tomorrow's transportation. By 9 p.m., after walking home for over 2 hours, I was exhausted, hungry, and starting to realize this challenge was going to be much harder than I thought. Day 1 spending. $4, $1.50. Plus $2.50. Food day. 1 remaining. $1 saved for day. 2. What I learned? Transportation costs are invisible until you don't have money. The privilege of having a car with gas in it, or a monthly bus pass, or living close enough to walk to work, these aren't luxuries. They're essentials that poor people have to pay for in the most expensive way possible. 1 transaction at a time. Day 223. The monotony sets in. Day 2. I woke up hungry. Not I should eat hungry physically, I'm comfortable hungry. Peanut butter sandwiches don't carry you through an 8-mile walk in a full workday. I used my saved $1 plus $1.50 from day 2's budget for bus fare. That left me with $3.50. Breakfast, peanut butter sandwich from yesterday's groceries. Lunch, peanut butter sandwich. Dinner, You guessed it. I spent $2.20 at the dollar store on bananas, 6 for $1.19, and a pack of instant oatmeal sent to you in dollars. At least I could vary the monotony slightly. By the end of day 2, I'd eaten 5 peanut butter sandwiches in 36 hours. The thought of eating another one made me want to cry. Day 2 spending. $4.70, $2.50 bus, plus $2.20 food remaining budget. $30.30 for 5 days, day 3. This was the day I broke. Not financially. I was at work, and a coworker offered to buy everyone coffee. Free coffee. I said no, because I'd feel guilty taking it without being able to reciprocate. Then I realized how insane that was. I was literally hungry, and I was turning down free coffee because of pride. That's when it hit me. This is what poverty does to people. It makes you reject help, because accepting help feels like admitting defeat. It makes you isolate yourself, because you can't participate in normal social activities. I took the free coffee. I felt like a fraud. But it took Italiano. Transportation. I walked to work 2 hours, 20 minutes, and took the bus home. On punto do $5. Saved time in the evening. Suffered in the morning. Meals. Oatmeal for breakfast. Peanut butter sandwich for lunch. Banana and oatmeal for dinner. I spent $1.80 on a dozen eggs because I needed protein that wasn't peanut butter. Day 3 spending. $3.05, $1.25 bus, plus $1.80 food. Remaining budget, $27.25 for 4 days. What I learned? The poverty tax is real. When you're broke, you can't buy in bulk. Can't take advantage of sales. Can't stock up when prices are good. You buy the smallest quantities at the highest per unit prices because that's all you can afford in the moment. It's the most expensive way to live. Day 4 to 5. The breaking point. Day 4. I woke up and wanted to quit. My body hurt from all the walking. I was tired of eating the same foods. I was mentally exhausted from constantly calculating pennies. I'd spent 3 days thinking about nothing but money and survival, and I still had 3 more days to go. But here's what kept me going. The realization that people live this way permanently. What felt like an impossible challenge to me is someone else's everyday reality. They don't get to quit after 7 days. I walked to work again. 2 hours, 20 minutes. Got offered a ride by a neighbor about a mile in. Had to decline because accepting a ride felt like cheating. It was a resource I didn't pay for. The absurdity of walking past someone offering help because of arbitrary challenge rules made me think about how many systems are designed to make it hard for poor people to accept help. The forms, the requirements, the documentation, the shame. Meals. Scrambled eggs, no butter, no milk. Just eggs and salt from work. Break room. Peanut butter sandwich. Oatmeal with banana. I spent $0 on day 4 because I still had food from previous purchases. Day 4 spending. $0 remaining budget. $27.25 for 3 days. Day 5. This was my failure day. I need to be honest about this. I was walking home from work mile 4 of 8 and it started pouring rain. Not light rain. Torrential. Soaking. Can't see. For more miles in a thunderstorm. Spend $1.25 on a bus, which would be financially fine but physically brutal after walking for miles. Or call someone for a ride. I broke. I called a friend. They picked me up. Drove me home and refused to let me pay for gas. I failed the challenge on day 5, but that failure taught me the most important lesson. Sometimes the system is designed to break you. Sometimes it's not about willpower or discipline, it's about basic human limitations. People living on extreme budgets aren't superhuman. They're doing the impossible until something breaks their body, their car, their resolve, or their spirit. Day 5 spending. $2.15. $2.15. Food, rice, and beans from dollar store remaining budget. $25.10 for 2 days. Moral status. Compromised Budweiser. Day 6 to 7. The final push, day 6. I was too tired to walk. Too guilty to cheat again. I spent $5 on a bus pass that covered the whole day. It let me run an errand to a cheaper grocery store where I could stretch my remaining dollars. I bought rice, beans, and more eggs. Nutritionally better. Emotionally depressing. Breakfast, scrambled eggs. Lunch, rice and beans. Dinner, rice and beans with a scrambled egg on top. Fancy. Day 6 spending. $7.20, $5 bus pass, plus $2.20 food remaining. $17.90 for one day. Yes, I went over budget. When you're stretched that thin, one unexpected expense like needing to get somewhere specifics destroys your careful calculations. Day 7, the final day. I woke up knowing I'd survived 6 days on $17.10, $35 budget minus $17.90 remaining. That's $2.85 per day average. I walked to work one last time. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to finish strong. My legs hurt. My feet had blisters, but I walked. Breakfast, oatmeal, lunch, rice, beans, and egg. Dinner. I spent $8 on a burrito from a real restaurant because I was done. I failed the budget on the last day too. Spent $8 when I had budgeted $5. But I learned something more valuable than completing the challenge. This isn't sustainable. This isn't noble. This is suffering. Day 7 spending. $9.25. $1.25 bus plus $8 food final budget status. Ober by about $9 hotel actual spending. $44 over 7 days original budget. $35. What this actually taught me, let me break down what I learned. Because it's more important than whether I technically succeeded. Lesson number 1. Poverty isn't a math problem, it's a trap. I went into this thinking if I was just strategic enough, I could make $5 work. But poverty isn't about making smart choices. Every choice is bad. Do you walk for 2 hours and arrive exhausted? Or spend money on transportation and skip a meal? Lesson number 2. The poverty tax is real and brutal. Poor people pay more for everything. They can't buy the economy size anything. They can't stock up on sales. They pay per transaction fees for bus rides instead of monthly pay. They pay check cashing fees because they don't have bank accounts. The system is designed to extract maximum costs from people with minimum resources. Lesson number 3. Time poverty is as brutal as financial poverty. I spent 15 to 20 hours that week, just on transportation. That's nearly a part-time job worth of time. Just getting to my actual job. People working multiple jobs, taking buses, walking there, spending their life in transit, which means no time for job searching, education, family, or rest. Lesson number 4. Social isolation is inevitable. I couldn't grab coffee with friends. Couldn't meet anyone for a meal. Couldn't participate in office lunch runs. Poverty doesn't just restrict your budget, it restricts your relationships and opportunities. Lesson number 5. The psychological toll is worse than the physical toll. The walking was hard. The hunger was hard. But the constant mental calculation, can I afford this? Should I do that? What if something goes wrong? That was absolutely exhausting. Every decision became a financial crisis. Lesson number 6. Emergency expenses are catastrophic. I had one unexpected rainstorm and it broke my budget. Imagine a medical emergency, a car repair, a lost phone. When you're living on $5 a day, any unexpected expense is a financial catastrophe. Lesson number 7. This challenge was privilege disguised as empathy. I could quit anytime. I had safety nets. I knew this was temporary. Real poverty doesn't come with an exit date or a comfortable apartment waiting at the end. Doing this as a challenge is nothing like living it as reality. The most important realization. Nobody should have to live like this. This shouldn't be anyone's reality. The fact that millions of people live on budgets this tight or tighter isn't a testament to human resilience. It's a policy failure, a systemic problem, a moral crisis. I survived 7 days and failed the budget by $9. People are doing this permanently, successfully, while also caring for children, managing health conditions, and trying to build a better future. The strength that requires is unimaginable. So what's the takeaway? Is this challenge worth doing? Honestly, Only if you understand it's not really about the money. It's about building empathy and understanding the invisible barriers that poverty creates. If you're watching this and you're curious about trying it yourself, here's my advice. Don't do it as a challenge. Do it as an education. And when you're done, use what you learned. Support policies that help low-income people. Living wages, affordable housing, accessible transportation, donate to food banks and mutual aid organizations. Stop judging people for their financial decisions when you don't know their constraints. Recognize that poverty isn't a personal failure, it's a systemic problem. If you're watching this because you're actually living on $5 a day or less, I see you. What you're doing is incredibly hard. You're not failing. The system is failing you. Resources that might help. -211.org connects you to local assistance programs. Findhelp.org for food banks and emergency aid. SNAP benefits if you qualify. Local mutual aid groups. Drop a comment. Have you ever had to survive on an extremely tight budget? What did it teach you? I want to hear real experiences. If this video changed how you think about poverty and budgeting, share it. Not because I want views, but because I want people to understand what $5 a day actually means. I spent 7 days on this challenge and it was one of the hardest things I've done. Millions of people don't get to quit after 7 days. That's not inspiration. That's a problem we need to solve.